I think I've just heard a little bit what the manager just said. I played with him 7 years ago. He was a top player then. Technically in training, I've not seen. I've trained with the likes of Giggs, Beckham, Scholes. Technically, he's a tremendous player. I'm a bit surprised when I left here. I thought he was going to be following as well. He had his chance at Nottingham Forest. I don't understand why no club has. Obviously now he's getting on a bit. I don't understand why no club at 27, 28 didn't take a chance. He gets deliveries in. He's got skill. His work ethic. Tactically, he's very good. Defending, but as the manager said, professionally, he's a great role model for everyone. He's totally opposite to me. I'm 34 and want to come in and chill out in training. He is always at the front, wanting to do this properly, so I feel like I have to follow him. For me, he's a nightmare, but as a professional, he's a great lad, and personally, he's a proper person, proper player.
Yeah, the manager said he's getting fitter. So you take it you're not getting as fitter then?
I've never been super fit anyway, so it doesn't really affect me. I'd like to think I'm still all right in the running and what have you, but Cops is just a little machine. He sets off. He's at the front pre-season after pre-season. We went to Portugal. He's at the front. 34 years old. His body fat's low. He's still very trim. So he's a great example for all the younger lads.
And what about we talked about the kind of the mood in the camp, but the experience as well. I mean, it must be nice to have another guy like that who can kind of pass on the experience in this team. Yeah,
we've got Rob Jones, who's obviously up and at him and aggressive in his approach, and then you've got Cops, who's totally the opposite, where he's quiet, calm, and he'll pull people aside one-on-one and speak to him in a different manner. You need all kinds of people to give advice, but in different ways, and Cops is a perfect player to do it quietly and effectively.
So how do you fit in all that?
I'm totally the opposite. Yeah, if I see something's wrong, I'll say it straight away. If I see something that I'm not happy with, if I wasn't doing things properly, I'd hope that someone would say to me to give me a lift, to give me a kick up the arse, and that's what Cops does. So I'm totally opposite to Cops. I'm more outspoken and say it how it is, really.
Yeah. What about this weekend? Obviously, we're talking about the game and what would have been a landmark game, but in terms of over 10,000 fans coming in, a big home game against another sort of promotion contender, it's sort of the games you want to be involved in, isn't it?
It makes a massive difference. If we turn up and it's 5,000-6,000 here, it can feel a bit quiet and empty, and there's not a good feel around the place. When you come in, it's 10,000-12,000. More or less every home game last year was great. It makes a massive difference. You don't need to get up for it, because straight away you get the feel as soon as you come. It makes so much difference. It's unbelievable.
Do you know much about Peterborough? Do you pay much attention to the opposition?
I miss the away game there, so I don't know too much. I would imagine they should be doing better than what they are. Obviously Darren Ferguson's left now, but they've got a good squad of players there. They should be doing probably a bit better than what they are.
Yeah. That's all I need. Anybody else?
Are you about where you expected to be, Richie, going into the final run of games? It's like the final straight now.
After what happened,
maybe before this,
before pre-season, before ball was kicked and the squad was settled and we went to Portugal, we was probably expected to be in the top 4, to be honest. And then obviously with what went on and players having to leave and not sign the players that we wanted, it's difficult for the manager then to go back out and get players who originally he might have said no to or didn't want, and that's a totally different way of thinking, because it could take 10-15 games to get going. So if you would have asked me if we could be in the top 6 after 15 games, then I would have took it, because I would have said that would have been a good achievement.
As a group of players, as yourself, have you felt the sort of momentum gathering perhaps?
A little bit, still not fully. We just, these draws, Preston, you get momentum going, you go away to Preston, dents that little momentum a little bit because we conceded in the last minute, so we should have 2 more points than what we've got. And then Gillingham was just, don't know how they play football on that every week. It was just a joke for a professional football club to have a pitch like that. So that was a bit of hopefully now we've got 2 games to go to get the momentum, because momentum's easy thing to say in football. Everyone can say, oh, you've got momentum. It's different when you've got to go out on the pitch every Saturday and you've got to beat a team that are trying to beat you, because you've got to make the momentum happen yourself.
The nerves come into it now?
For me personally, no, because I've been through this so many times. It doesn't really affect me, but I would imagine that the young lads will start getting nervous once you get the sight of Wembley and playoffs and what have you, because it's natural to get nervous. And it is a good thing to get nervous.
Obviously, you're having to adapt to Keegs' injury as well, which was a massive blow. How do you see the team sort of evolving without Keegs?
Well, it's a difficult one because we didn't have a chance to see that at Gillingham because it was such a scrappy game that I started off holding and the ball was just in the air all the time. Then Dean went back there, so we see what the manager does this Saturday. But obviously we've got a little bit of a better pitch, so we would like to implement our system more on the opposition more than we did against Gillingham.
You've said before, haven't you prefer playing further forward, but you're willing to do a job.
Yeah, you know me, I want to get on the ball, and the position that I can play where I got on the ball the most is, for me, the better position. I think if I can get on the ball the most, I can influence the game more.
How's Abdul doing? Because I think a lot of people from the outside see him as a similar player to yourself. How's he coming on?
I wouldn't say that. No, he's more of a dribbler and he's more of an off the cuff player, whereas I'm I'm more liable to play just sensible passes and try and he's more liable to do bits of skill what you've never seen before. In training he does flip flaps and things like this where just great. I wouldn't say he's a holding midfield player, but there's a player in there without a doubt. If you can get him to go on the pitch and put his skill level the right way, then he's definitely a good player in there without a doubt.
With that background that Abdul's got, coming from Manchester City, that he's been to Russia and Greece, who in the squad puts an arm around him and says, look, this is English third tier football, this is how
he doesn't need it, to be honest. He's a confident lad. I think because he's been in England for such a long time anyway, he's used to the banter, he's used to the way of playing. But like you say, the biggest thing when you're dropping from that level to this level is not only the players you're playing with, but the players you're playing against. If he's going against players that are not really bothered about getting the ball, they just want to stop him. So that's a different mindset. He's got to get his head around that someone wants to stop him. He's got to go into different areas and do different things to get his game out. It's a lot more difficult, and he's not playing with as good of players as when he was at Man City or in Russia.
Talked to James Coppinger in the lead up to this game. He said that over his 10 or 11 years there's been some youngsters who haven't wanted to knuckle down and haven't achieved their full potential. Do you agree with him on that? You've been there a long time.
Well, I was only here 2 years last time, and I can remember Paul Green coming through and Hubby last year. They're the only two that have really come through the system. It's difficult for young players. I think the biggest struggle what young players really struggle with is the mental side. They've all got the skill, they've all got the ability, or they wouldn't be at football clubs in the first place. It's about being strong-minded when you have a low, and when you are playing well. A lot of young players get carried away and don't carry on doing the things what have got them into good form. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then all of a sudden they start doing silly things, and then the form goes. It's just about trying to keep a level field, whether you're playing well or playing badly, mentally try and stay stable.
Is that applicable to someone who's just left the club in Uchi?
Uchi was, big, powerful lad. He's got a lot to learn, and he needs to get a coach who is going to pull him aside, and he's got to listen to coaches that will make him a better player, because physically he's got everything to be a Premier League player, physically, but he needs to improve, obviously, his awareness of the game, and he needs to listen to people to make him improve as a player.